Welcome back to Selena's Table and our little Aussie homestead. I'm Selena. Today I want to show you how to make the easiest and most delicious pizza dough that I've ever come up with. If you've been following my videos for a while, you'll see that a long time ago I did make a rye pizza dough recipe. This one is very similar, but this is just using regular old plain flour. You can use like freshly milled flour if that's something that you're into. But yeah, all-purpose general flour is the easiest way that I find to make this economical, and also a little bit of semolina at the end. But anyway, we'll get into that. If you make this in the morning, you can go to work, you can go about your day, and then you come back to it at dinner time and just finish it off. And I find that it is so easy, it's convenient, it's actually quicker than for us to drive into town and get some pizzas ordered. So the other thing is, if you want to make this a couple of days in advance, you can actually keep your dough in the fridge and then finish it off and make it when you're ready to have your pizza. It's also freezable. So I'll show you all those things, but it's a really quick, really easy recipe. So let's get into it. So I have some kitchen scales here, and I'm just going to pop my bowl on there and then make sure it reads 0. My digital scales have run out of battery at the moment, so I'm just going back to these old school ones. There we go, now we can get started. So in here, we want to put 650 mils of water. $50 mils of olive oil. If olive oil is getting really expensive where you are as well, and you don't want to use 50 mils of olive oil, you can use any old vegetable oil that you prefer. I haven't tried it with butter or lard or anything like that, but I can't see why you wouldn't be able to use it if you want to give that a go as well. My preferred oil is olive oil, so I will use that today. 1 heaped teaspoon of salt. 1 kilo of flour. To that we just add 2 teaspoons of dried yeast. And all you do is give that a mix to combine the ingredients. We aren't going to knead this or anything right now. We are just mixing our ingredients together. We just want to bring the ingredients together. We just want all the flour incorporated. Just like that. Now it'll be a shaggy dough, and shaggy means, see how it's sort of rough, it's not smooth, it's a little sticky. Okay, none of that is a problem. That's what we want. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so now that our ingredients are combined, that was super simple, super quick, we're just gonna wrap this up and let it sit until we're ready to eat dinner. So at the moment, it's 9:30 in the morning, okay? So I've started this early. I have definitely started this earlier, so like 6 o'clock in the morning before heading out to work. And then when I get home of an afternoon, the dough is ready to work with. So we're just gonna wrap it. And I'll pop a towel over the top. And that can just sit aside for the rest of the day. As I was saying earlier in the video, if you're wanting to make this 2 days in advance or something, you can just put it straight in the fridge, okay? But if you're going to eat it today, just leave it out of the fridge and have it rest on the bench for the day, and then come back to it later to finish it off. So really, really simple pizza dough. So this dough freezes really well as well. So the other thing I like to do is make a couple of batches at a time, like one for tonight, and then I'll divide the others up. And I pop them into a little Ziploc bag in their portion sizes, and I keep them in the freezer. Now, to use this pizza dough, because it is hard, you would take this out the day before you want to use it and just pop it in the fridge, and then the next day when you go to use it, just take it out of the fridge and it will be ready to use. Okay, so it hasn't been all day, but for the purpose of showing you how to wrap up this pizza dough, I have let it rest for 2.5 hours. Okay, so that's not quite enough to be the best pizza that we're going to have, but I actually want to freeze most of this. So I'm going to make one and show you what they are like, but I'm also going to freeze it up so I can show you what that is also like. So my oven is on, I've got it really hot, and I have a pizza stone in there. If you have a wood-fired oven, this pizza is going to be incredible in a wood-fired oven, okay? But because I don't, so we're just going to have ours in the regular oven. I have got it set currently at 230 degrees Celsius. I'll turn it down to about 200 when I actually go to cook it. But while it's heating up, I want it really roaring hot. I want my pizza stone to be nice and hot. If you don't have a pizza stone, again, just cook it with that one. Okay, so as you can see, my dough hasn't changed much, but it is much softer when I actually touch it, okay? Now is when we're gonna combine it. If I'd let it rest all day, sometimes it will get quite large and expand and be like rather moist. So when it comes to dusting your work surface, you've got to gauge your dough at the time, okay? So today's dough won't probably require that much, but there are some days where this dough is really risen and it is really like moist. Today is actually quite cold here and I haven't let it rest all day. So, but you can see things aren't fully combined. It's just the same as what we left it. All right, and now my next tip to make this dough, like this pizza crust, incredible is use semolina flour if you can. You can, of course, use plain white flour, but semolina flour, this is what makes it incredible, in my opinion, on the base of your crust, okay? I buy this for the purpose of making pasta and pizza, that's it. What I'm going to do is make quite a mound, like that. And I want to tip all of my dough out on top. Okay, and now I'm just going to incorporate some of that flour into my dough. If it was really moist, that semolina would dry it up so it doesn't just stick to everything, okay? Now with this batch, I usually get 4 really large pizzas or 6 to 8 sort of individual size. So I'm gonna break it down into 4 and then I'll freeze an individual one like that, a quarter of it. But what I'm doing is I'm actually rolling my dough completely in that semolina so that it's covered, okay? And I'm going to just flatten it down a bit for the purpose of freezing it so that when I go to defrost it, it's a little easier to manage. And yes, I have got a lot of semolina. I won't throw it out. It will be put back into its packet, okay, because it's rather an expensive flour. Any that doesn't get used just goes straight back, okay? So just like that, and into a Ziploc baggie. There's 3 large ones to go in the freezer. Now I do have way too much flour. I'm just going to move that to the side. We just want to press it out. So you can see there's no real kneading involved in this pizza dough. It's certainly not hard work. And it is super convenient for those of us who need to leave the house and can't be home all day tending to dough. It is convenient in that you just mix it in the morning and then come back to it at dinner time. Okay, so now we can do a bit of a stretch. You want to get this crust the thickness that you like, and if you have some thin bits like I did just then, I'm just going to pinch it back together a bit. Okay, perfect. All right, so I've just got some baking paper and I'm going to pop my pizza dough on there. So now you just want to make this pizza however you normally would, however you prefer to have it. I'm just going to quickly make a nice tomato and basil pizza. Some Italian herbs, dried. I like my pizza nice and herby. Okay, some mozzarella. Some onion. Fresh tomatoes from the garden. And while I'm on tomatoes, look at this beauty that I grew. I can't wait to eat that one. Okay, and some fresh herbs. Just got basil and oregano. Drizzle mine with extra olive oil. That's optional. I no longer have a pizza paddle, it broke. So what I do have is a baking tray, okay? If you flip it over and use the flat side, you can scoop up your pizza like that and slide it onto your pizza stone. Just like that. Hey, check that out. Get a little bit of tomato. Nice crispy base. That's hot. Delicious. Thanks for spending time with me today as I showed you how to make my pizza dough. I really hope you give this one a try. And don't forget, you can always freeze any extra that you have or pre-make in advance. Have a great week.